Welcome to the Hooked on Needles Craftcast. My name is Maricela, or Mari if you prefer. Today is January 9th, 2019, and this is episode 37. Hello everyone, I hope you had good holidays and a good new year. Ours is going good so far. Hopefully it will continue. And yeah, it's been a little bit since I have made a video. Life just got busy and that's all there is to it. I was hoping to make a video before the holidays so that I could show you all of the finished socks from the task that I had given myself of making socks for a couple of family members. And like I said, I just got busy and I wasn't able to make a video, and so I did take pictures of most of the socks. I think only my sister's, one of my sisters, I didn't get a chance to take pictures of her socks. So if I'm able to get her to send me a picture, I will put it up and everything. And I will be putting up pictures of the socks that I finished, because I was really proud of myself. I was not able to do all of the ones that I hoped for, but I think I did pretty good for having put that task of making socks for them and at the same time trying to make socks for myself. So yeah, so let me get started. I made some for one of my aunts, and for her I used the Peyton's Croy Flax color and a different color that I don't think I have the label. Let me check. It may have it in here, but I used the, no, I don't have it. I used the Pearl Soho's pattern Pixel socks, and that pattern was super addictive. Those socks seemed like they just flew off my needles. It's a simple pattern, but yet the finished product I think looks so beautiful. I really enjoyed doing that, and I have come to realize that I do enjoy doing color work socks. So I'm hoping to have a couple of those in the future. And yes, those were for my aunt. And for my uncle, I did a vanilla sock for the foot, and then the rib, I did a 2x2 rib. And for his socks, I used Cascade Heritage prints, and it's the yarn that I got from West 7 Wool in Texas, and that was a fun yarn too. It because it stripes, it also kind of makes the knitting more fun. So I did enjoy making those, and I will put a picture of those here. And for my sister, or one of my sisters, I made the Rose City rollers, and for her I used Madeline Tosh was the speckled yarn, and Cascade Heritage was the contrast. And I apologize, I keep looking down, but I actually wrote it down because I don't think I was gonna remember all of them. Oh, I'm drinking some tea, and I'm drinking it out of this mug. My sister made a trip to Mexico over Christmas break, and she went to a museum in Puebla, and this was one of the mugs that she brought, and I love it. It's gorgeous. She got one for my sister with an owl, and it's also like this stained glass stuff, and they are so beautiful. So thank you, sister. Yeah, sorry. And then for my nephew, I did a plain vanilla sock, and I used Peyton's Croy flax for the contrast and turquoise stripes for the rest of the foot or the sock. And his also, I feel like I didn't take too long making them all again because of the striping. So yeah, those were nice. And then for my brother-in-law, I used a 3x1 rib all throughout the sock except for the sole of the foot. And I used Lion Brand's yarn. I don't remember the name of it, but I did use Lion Brand sock yarn. And his were the first ones. It was my first time making men's socks, so I felt like they took forever. But after that, then I feel like it kind of got me ready to work through my uncles and then my nephews. Although I think my uncles also did take me quite a while because of the ribbing. The ribbing, I think, is just kind of difficult to do, and I've been trying to find a way to do ribbing where it's not so, like, it doesn't feel so tedious, because I feel like with the 9-inch circulars it feels it's like harder for on my hands, I think. So I feel like maybe for ribbing I need to either do double pointed needles or possibly magic loop, just because there's a little bit more to hold, and so then it's easier, like the needles are longer, so it's easier to do the ribbing. So that's something I noticed. And then I think this was actually my favorite pair to knit up, and these were for my father-in-law. And it was just plain vanilla socks, and I used Toe Creations yarn in the Honeydew colorway. And like I said, I think these are my favorite. I actually was thinking about keeping them for myself, just because I loved the way that the yarn knit up. It was just beautiful. The colors, I just really loved the color of this yarn. So yes, those were fun, and those were for my father-in-law. And then I also made some for my sister, and I did the blueberry waffles pattern, and for hers I used Peyton's Croy, and I actually dyed up the yarn myself, and she really liked them because it was colors that, you know, are that she likes. So that was the whole point of it, is I wanted to make them a little bit more for her. So yeah, she like put them on immediately, and she was like, thank you. And then my other sister as well was like, oh my gosh, what yarn do I need to get for you to make me some more of these, because these are amazing. And I feel like I usually have a pair of socks on my needles now. So sometimes when we go to family gatherings, like we were doing New Year's Eve, and I just took some knitting, and I was just knitting up a sock, and everybody's like, but you're making your socks? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, you could just go buy them. And I'm like, I know, but you don't understand, like, when you make your own socks, and it's just like a completely different thing. Like, and one of my cousin's wife was like, oh, but you know, you are able to make the socks, so I'm pretty sure it is different and all that. She's like, I think you're so talented. And not that I'm saying, like, you know, tooting my own horn or anything, but it was just kind of like a weird thing to hear, because I don't think of myself as talented, honestly. I always say, like, I just follow a pattern, or like I just learned to do this. Like, I don't know. I feel like I just make the stuff. I don't think it takes too much of my talent. I don't know. I feel that way. I think because I feel like my siblings are really talented, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before. Like, my brother is an amazing artist, and my sister as well, and then my other sister is like an amazing dancer, and I can't draw to save my life or dance to save my life. So I feel like I don't know, I just feel like I got, you know, not much of any talent left when I came along. I am the youngest of 4, so I do feel like the runt of the litter sometimes, and you know, it's just the way it is, but it's fine. So when I hear people call me that, I just kind of chuckle to myself because I'm like, no, I'm not, but whatever. Anyway, so yes, knitted socks are amazing, and I definitely want to get some more done this year. My friend and I were actually talking last year. We did a sock exchange for our birthdays. Both of our birthdays fall in May. And she was like, hey, do you want to do it again? And of course I want to do it again. It was so much fun. I love the socks that she's made me. And yeah, so more socks. I feel like, yes, definitely have to do that. So that's exciting. And I have a pattern in mind for hers already, but I need to go looking for the yarn, so I look forward to that. And finished objects, things that I actually have been working on. The pair that I was knitting New Year's Eve were these. They are plain vanilla, and they are using Peyton's Croy. And this is actually the leftover that I had from my aunt's socks. And then I just got the contrasting color. It's a gray, a dark gray, charcoal gray. I don't have the label with me. Here it is. And getting, I bought two skeins of this, of the purple stripes. And then for my aunt's socks, I did contrasting with the flax. And so I did get 2 full pairs out of the 2 skeins, but using contrasting heels and toes. So had I not done that, I wouldn't have gotten the 2 pairs. And I just did a short row heel. Yeah, so I actually have been waiting to make a video to actually wear them because I wanted them to look nice for you guys. And so yeah, I'm ready to wear them now. They are super cozy. I really like Peyton's Croy for socks. And that was in my Ashley Love, or Ash Love Makes bag. And then I was trying to come up with something to make for my neighbors because our neighbor, one of our neighbors came by and gave us a little poinsettia as, you know, for the holidays. And then the other neighbor came by and brought some holiday treats she made. And so I wanted to give something back to them. And I actually didn't. I ended up not giving it back, giving them the stuff. The intention was there, and then stuff happened. So I wanted something that they could just have around their house. So I was trying to come up with something, and I came up with a little tree, and I used little pony beads for the lights. And this was actually with the help of my son and my husband, because I had originally just made this. I've seen some people put like a foam cone in there. I didn't want to do that, so I just used stuffing, and so I was just going to do it like that. But then my kid and my husband were like, you can't have a tree without a trunk, so I had to put a trunk on the tree. And I actually just took toilet paper, the toilet paper roll, and cut it to fit inside. to kind of stabilize it a little bit more, and then I just put some filling inside and sewed it on there. And so this was my little Christmas tree, and this is the one for our house. And so that the tree wouldn't just be all on its own, I made a little snowman. And I actually got my son to go and get little twigs from outside to put the little arms on there. I just thought it was cute. And I just crocheted a little hat with a little pom-pom. And I think I did a standing half double crochet scarf. And yeah. So the reason why I ended up not giving it to my neighbors, even though that was my intention, is because I posted it on Instagram and my sister saw it, and we were going to have a gathering at her house. We usually get together and decorate gingerbread houses and stuff like that. And so she is a baker. She likes to decorate cookies. And so she was also giving some cookies away to people and stuff. And so I wanted to give stuff too. And I was like, oh, I should just give them this thing I made. And so I ended up making them for like most of the families that went. There were some families that I didn't know were going, so I didn't have one for them, which I was like, sorry. But yeah, for the ones that I knew for sure were going, I made a little tree and a little snowman. And let me go get the box. Okay, sorry. I ended up getting these boxes at Hobby Lobby and just packaging them this way. And for some, I ended up doing just the tree and making it longer. And for others, I did put the trunk on there. And so yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. So next year, I am ready. I will be giving these to my neighbors for sure. And yeah, I ended up making them for, like I said, my sister's gathering. And then I ended up giving some to our friends. So every time I made some, I was like, okay, I have to put away the ones for the neighbors. And then my husband's like, oh, you should make one for my mom and dad. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. So then I gave that one away. And so it was just like every time I made a set, you know, another family came up, and I was like, oh my gosh. So then I ran out of yarn, and I ended up getting some of this. This is another type of tree that I made. And I just used some variegated from Hobby Lobby. I actually have some right here. Because I ran out of yarn. So I had to go buy another one. And this is the spring green color. And I really liked that, how it changed color. So yeah, I like that. And then I found these beads somewhere. I don't know. These are a little bit bigger than the pony beads that I used on my original try. But yeah, and so I ended up finding this little like stand thing that you can put on your wall. And so that's where it's been, you know, the tree and the little snowman have been living this winter. And it was really cute. And then I found some cute little house ornaments that I put behind there. So they're pretty cute looking things. But yeah, so I'm getting ready already for next year. I will for sure have the ones for my neighbors and give those out next year, because just stuff came up and I wasn't able to give it to them. So yeah, so now I'm thinking that maybe for Valentine's Day, I will make them something. And I'm actually thinking about probably a mandala, and maybe getting them a little plant or something to put on there. If not, maybe I'll make them a little cactus that they can put on there. But yeah, so now I'm planning ahead and hopefully get it done. And I'm not gonna I'm gonna try and tunnel vision and only think about my neighbors. And after I give my neighbors stuff, then I will make stuff for everybody else, because that's what I should have done and I didn't. So I will definitely do that this time. Anyways, and then I also was just feeling blah and going through Instagram, and I saw someone post this little thing, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need one. Now, a friend of mine had sent something like this a while ago, and she was like, I need this in my life. Friend, this one is not for you. Will you get one? Maybe. But I made this little unicorn. Look at how darling it is. It is stinking cute. I got it off of a blog somewhere. I'll try to find it and post it on here. But oh my gosh, it is so adorable. So this is our little sleeping unicorn. I don't think we have named it yet, and if we have named it, I don't remember. But isn't he adorable? And for him, I used Loops and Thread Capri yarn in the white color. And I got this when it was on clearance, 99 cents each little ball. And I did use up a whole thing of this and a little bit of the contrast color. So it says that it has 87 yards, so you will use most of it. And I used a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. Oh, and I also wanted to talk about these crochet hooks. When we were in Texas, we went to a store named Daiso. It's a Japanese store, I believe. And that's where I got my hooks. And I love them. Because this is like super sturdy. The other, I've gotten some that have like the rubber grip thing, but then they slide off. And so, you know, I'll be crocheting and then all of a sudden I have to stop, push the thing back in and keep going because this just keeps getting further and further out. So I didn't like that. And so I tried these and I loved them. And I ended up getting a couple of sizes last time we went to Texas. And so if you have a Daiso, I would suggest you give them a try. They're not for everybody. The day that I went to get these, actually there was a lady there and she saw me go for them, grab them, and she was like, I don't think you should get those because they just do not work. And I was like, really? And she's like, yes, they are just bad hooks. I don't suggest you get them. And I was like, okay, well, I have actually tried them and I actually like them, so I'm gonna get some. And you know, to each their own. We all, I feel like, you know, hold our hooks differently, and the way that I hold my hook, it just seems to work and I really enjoy them. So just so you know, I mean, if you have it available, I know for sure that there are some in Texas. I think there's a Daiso in one of the Carolinas and in California. I don't know about the other states. Those are the ones that I know for sure I've seen them in. So yeah, just keep an eye out for Daiso. And that's all I have finished. I have not worked on my derecho at all. I went to pick it up, and then I realized that I had already, like, I wanted to stop at the small size, but I had already gone further than I should have for the small size. And I was like, do I really want to rip out or do I want to continue? And so I was kind of battling that in my head. And so I was like, no, I have enough yarn. I should be able to go ahead and finish the larger size. And so I need to get back on that and finish it because I'm ready to wear it because that thing is gorgeous. So I need to get on that. And then I also need to, oh, sorry. Let me go with this. These socks I actually had not touched. I was going crazy during the holidays, like trying to finish all those trees and snowmen. So I hadn't really like had much time to knit anything, I feel. So I don't know. I feel like also that was why I hadn't made a video. Like I hadn't really had my mojo. I haven't really been sewing. I don't know. Something was happening and I just So anyways, I finally got around to getting this far on these socks, and these socks are just a little pattern I made up myself. I'm pretty sure there's a pattern out there somewhere with this, but I really like the texture that they have, and it's just slip stitches that are doing that. And although I don't usually like the pulling of the socks, I don't hate it. So yeah, and these I dyed up myself as well. I just used food coloring, and yeah, I'm ready to put heels in on these, and that was like a big accomplishment to finally get to that point, and I'm excited. And then I also was wanting, I had wanted to get this pattern for quite a while, and my husband was like, oh, it's been a while since you've bought anything. Is there anything you would really want? And I was like, well, there is this one pattern that I've been wanting to try, and maybe I'll get it. I wasn't really sure if I was gonna get it or not, and I did end up getting it. It's the Drippity Drop Socks, I believe, by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. And I am using yarn from the 10,000 Stitches podcast. It's a podcast hosted by Andy. And I actually won this yarn in one of her knit-alongs, I think maybe a year ago or a year and a half ago. But yeah, and it's my first time working with yarn that has stellina in it, and they are really pretty. I don't think the lighting is doing justice to the pattern. They look much nicer in person. And I did a German twisted cast on, and I actually held the needles together when I was doing it. So instead of just using the one needle to do the cast on, I put my needles together, and I feel like that also kind of helped give it a little bit more of a stretch. And yeah, I am loving them. It is not a difficult pattern at all. It is also a good quick knit. I actually, these were my New Year cast on. I started these on New Year's Day, and yeah, they are coming along quite nicely. I am knitting them on my 9-inch circulars. They do not look too matchy, but that's okay. They are related. They're just not twins. They're fraternal. And so yeah, but I am a-okay with that. I don't know if you can see the pattern in this one a little bit better. It's such a lovely texture. And Kay does a really nice job explaining when you get to the heel and everything, she has some links to the videos that come along when you buy the pattern. And I feel like it is worth your money to pay for the information that she is giving you, because once you have this pattern and she teaches you how to do the gusset and everything, and then the toe, this one uses her umbrella toe, then you can substitute it for any pair that you like if it ends up being a method that you like. And so I feel like that is something that is totally worth it, you know, because this may end up being my favorite heel from now on. I'm not sure. I have been having a bit of a problem with my socks. I don't know what is going on. Those are the only two things I'm working on right now, honestly. My brain just isn't having it right now. So, yes. But I have been having trouble. My socks that I have made in the past, that I have knit up in the past, most of them are getting holes right like right in this part, right after the heel. And I don't know if that has to do with the way that I walk or what, because it's mostly only one of the socks. And yeah, I had to darn one of my socks already, and it wasn't the best job, honestly. It was my first time darning. If I do it again, I feel like I have a better sense of what to do, but I don't think it was a horrible job either. But yeah, I'm having that trouble with all of my socks. They most of the pairs that I have knit up seem to be doing that. The only ones that are not doing it are the ones that my friend knit up for me, and like the newer ones and my girly feeling ones. Those seem to be holding up okay, but for some reason the others are wearing quite badly and tearing. And I don't know if it's because I am quite a tight knitter and maybe I'm just making the stitches too tight. So actually I have been trying very, very hard to keep my gauge quite loose with these, because the ones that my friend knit up for me are a little bit loose on me, which is fine. But I'm wondering if that has something to do with it. The fact that the yarn isn't constantly, you know, being stretched out or whatever. So I'm trying to keep that in mind and give myself a little bit more room with these new pairs that I am making. And so hopefully that will fix the problem. And yeah, because I do really love my socks, and I mean, I will fix them up and everything, but I really need to, I would appreciate it if they didn't all just have holes in them. So yeah, so that is a decision that I am trying to, like a conscious decision of being a little bit looser on my socks and not as tight, because I do like a tight fitting sock, but you know, it's okay. Like right now I'm wearing mismatched socks because the other two have holes in them. But anyways, so yeah, so I think that that is what I am going to do. That is all the crafty content I have for you this episode. Thank you so much for those of you who have been waiting patiently, and yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah, if you want to stay and have a little chat, I will have a little chat with you guys. If not, that's all good. We'll see you next time. But yeah, get yourself a little drink. Okay, so the holidays were actually really relaxing, and I was having a little bit of trouble, I have to be honest. Around the holidays, usually we make our way out of Georgia and into whatever state my husband is in at the time. But this year he actually got some time off and was home with us for about 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks. Like, yeah, like half of the month of December he was with us. And so I was actually having a little bit of trouble getting into the whole spirit of Christmas. And that was kind of the reason why I wanted to also make these, where, you know, was to kind of get my mojo, my Christmas mojo going. And yeah, I just had difficulty with it this year. I don't know why. It was just, it was different. And then I ended up doing, like, because I wanted to get into the mood, I made a big decision for a Hispanic, or a Mexican, I should say. I decided to make tamales for the first time ever. Was it a success? Yes and no. I ended up burning the big pot, and the other pot was fine. I have never made tamales before. I have helped, like, fill them and roll them up, but it's not the same as making the dough and the fillings and all of that stuff. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I invited my sister and my in-laws, my niece and my nephew, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And the ones I made quite a lot, and so I ended up having to have two pots going. And my mother-in-law was nice enough to let us borrow her burner and her big tamal pot. And so we were cooking those outside, and then I made a smaller pot that of the ones that were left inside, and I was cooking those inside the house. And so we have a little creek in the back of our yard, and so when I went out to, like, check on them, I couldn't really hear the pot itself if it still had water boiling in there. So I ended up turning them off, but it was a bit too late. They had already burned a bit. And so the top ones were okay, but, like, most of the ones on the bottom were just completely burnt. And actually, that's not even true, because I didn't layer them, which is another thing that I learned. So most of them were burnt, like, right at the bottom, at the base, and then the others, and then the rest of them were like, you could taste the burnt stuff on there. So they were not my best first time, but my daughter kept saying, like, it was your first time. And also, like, I did this with YouTube videos. I think one of my biggest regrets I will have is that I never really got into the kitchen with my mom, because she was a phenomenal cook. Like, she showed you her love with her food. And growing up, like, she also wasn't the type to, like, say, come, let me show you. She would just, like, say, what do you want? Like, what are you in the mood for? And then she would cook it for you. And then that was her loving you. So I do wish I would have been in the kitchen a little bit more with her, so that I could have learned these things, because I don't know how to cook a lot of Hispanic meals or Mexican meals. And that is kind of something that I kind of wish I could have done with her, but you know, it's fine now. Like, I will thank you, YouTube, because I will be able to learn through YouTube. And I think I mentioned last year that that was a goal of mine, was to kind of make some traditional Mexican dishes. And so I really would like to do that this year. I'm hoping to learn at least 6 new dishes this year and really, like, really do them, not just hope that I do them. So, and I do want to give tamales another try, because I feel like, I feel like I can do it. I will be better next time. So it was a good experience and a bad one at the same time. You know, I learned from my mistakes, and we could only eat the small pot. So yeah, but it is a very time-consuming thing, because I think the smart people that make tamales will make like 1 flavor or 2 flavors. But I was like, bump that, I'm gonna do 3 flavors or 3 different types. So I had one in I had pork with green chili salsa, and those are my favorite. I'm lying to you that it's not pork, it was chicken with green salsa. And then I had pork in a red chili salsa, which I also had never used that type of chile. It's called guajillo, and that was also a new experience. And yeah, wow, to make that salsa, like, it takes a little bit of time, because you have to take the seeds out if you want. It actually is quite spicy, even though we took the seeds out after we did everything. Like, we ended up with some leftover salsa, and we were just putting it on like our food later on, because it was so good. Yeah, it was delicious. That salsa was actually really good. Yeah, you just have to do so much to that one chile. Like, you take out the seeds, and then you toast it some, and then, do you toast it or do you boil it? I don't even remember what you do to it. You do something to it. I think you boil it. It was boiling, not toasting. You boil it, and then you blend it, and then you strain it into a pot where you're gonna cook it. And then what's it called? There's a word. Oh, I wish my husband was here. He knows the word. Where, you know, you start with this big thing, you let it simmer, and then it gets smaller and more concentrated flavors. There's a word for it. I know it. I just can't think of it right now. But anyways, so then you do all that, and then you end up with this delicious salsa. And it was so good. Like I said, it was just so delicious. And I was like, I have been missing out, because this guajillo is amazing. So I need to come up with some more guajillo dishes, because that mess is good. And then I also did, what's it called? The flavor is rajas, which is just cut up peppers, like jalapenos, and you roast them. Or there was different ways to do them, but I actually liked the sauteing idea. So I sauteed just strips of chile and onion, and then you roll that with a strip of cheese into the tamal, and then all of the flavors just come together, and it's just this deliciousness that happens. So yeah, I did all 3 flavors. And that day, like, I took the day before to prep, and then the next day I was gonna cook them, but then I just went crazy and I did not, like, my stove did not turn off that day. I was cooking the entire day, and I was so glad that my husband was here, because he actually was like, well, if you're gonna be using the stove, I'm gonna put something in the slow cooker, and that way we have food. And I am so glad he did that, because yeah, there was no time for actual like cooking food in between. Like, it was just tamal stuff making the whole day. So yeah, that was quite an experience. So I am not going to be afraid of it. I will give them another attempt, at least 2 more attempts, and then maybe it's just I'm not cut out for tamales. But as of right now, I feel like I can do this. So yeah. And then, yeah, husband went back to work on the 31st. He flew out, so we didn't spend New Year's together, but that's okay. That has happened before. And, yeah, it was just really relaxing holidays. Like I said, my sister came over for Christmas, and my parents-in-law did too. And that was really nice. Usually they also go out of town, and so we don't usually spend the holidays together. And the fact that they were able to come over and just kind of relax together and have a conversation was really nice. They got to watch a movie with the kids, and it was just really, really relaxing Christmas. So I really enjoyed it at the end of the day. And it was just nice. And then for New Year's, we went to my sister's, and people came over, and like I said, I was knitting, and it was just also quite nice. I live about 45 minutes to an hour away from my sister, and I didn't really want to drive, so we actually planned to spend the night over at my sister's, so that I was like, it's fine, I don't even want to drive, because I drove my husband to the airport like earlier in the day. So I was like, I'm just gonna come back, and then we're just gonna spend the night. She was like, great. So that's what we did. So that was really nice. And I tried mezcal, which is an alcoholic beverage. But the one that that we tried, I didn't really like. It tasted the way a Sharpie smells, if that makes any sense. And yeah, it was just not for me. My sister, like I said, had gone to Mexico, and so she brought it over, and she's like, oh, you gotta try this. And no, that was not for me. That mezcal was not for me. But you know, it's fine. We all have our different tastes. And yeah, so I think mezcal is not for me. She's brought over different kinds, and I don't think there's been one that I really like. So yeah, they were, you know, they were enjoying themselves and stuff like that, but I was like, no, I'm good with just my hot chocolate things. So yeah. And right now it's just been busy again with the kids. Oh, I did give one of the little trees in the snowman to my son's teacher, and she was like, that was so cute, I can't believe you make those. And I was like, yeah, you know. Anyways, and so that was really nice, and her birthday's coming up, so I don't know what to do for her. I'm the room parent, so I feel responsible. Like we should do something nice. But we didn't get a lot of cooperation from the other parents. We did have a end of like a holiday break party at his school, and not a lot of the parents participated. So that was kind of discouraging. I was talking to my husband, and I was like, I don't know if I want to ask the parents for help for her birthday. it's at the end of this month, so I'm not sure. I mean, we will definitely do something for her, but only because I also don't want to like make the other parents feel like I'm constantly asking them for things. So we'll see. My son would like for me to make her a little amigurumi, but I'm like, well, I already made her the little snowman. I don't know if she really wants something else. And I was talking to her to kind of see if maybe she would appreciate something knitted, but she says that she is actually always warm. So she's like, I can't, like, she's like, I don't even wear jackets sometimes during the winter because I just get hot. And I'm like, okay, so maybe an amigurumi is a good idea. So we will see. I will be showing my son some patterns, and then hopefully I am able to get something done for her. And I really want to make a sweater this year. That is one of my goals this year, is to make a sweater. I would like to make an opened sweater. Is that a cardigan? I always get them confused, but I think it's a cardigan. And so I want to make something, yeah, I want to make a sweater. And I also did send out my notice already to my family, and I was like, if anybody wants anything, I need you to let me know by March, because I need to have time to get my act together and get it done by Christmas. So I think my niece said she did want something. She wanted some more of the leg warmers. So I think I'm gonna make her some more of those. And I think my sister wanted some socks. Yeah, I don't know. I think that was it. I think those they were the only two that said they wanted something. And then I know for sure one of my my oldest nephew, he's mentioned that he would appreciate some more hats because he likes them. So I think I will end up making him a couple hats. And yeah, I also sent a little tree and snowman to my brother, and I don't know if he noticed, but I used his favorite soccer team colors. Yeah, and he was like, oh, thanks. So that was fun. But yeah, I feel like I need to get myself going. Like I said, I haven't really been knitting too much, so knitting or crocheting, like this was just because I was like, I want to make something, and I feel like amigurumis are they just bring me joy. So yeah, maybe that's gonna be his name or her name. I don't know what it is. I don't know. We'll name it. I'll ask the kids. But yes, so that's all I have for you this episode. Thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a lovely 2019. I hope to make some more videos soon, or a video soon, I should say, because I feel like I was gone for quite a while from you guys. So yeah, wishing you guys just the best, and a big hug to everybody for the New Year's. And hasta la próxima.